Hey, what's up guys? Justin Johnson here. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about the newest guitar series from Bromo guitars. This series is called the Fusion Craft series, and it's basically like a fusion between like a nylon string, like a classical guitar design, and an electric guitar. So basically like two completely opposite different types of guitars in one. And total transparency, you know, when I got this guitar, I really was not sure, you know, I was going to like it. I kind of had some doubts about it. And I'll tell you why. And it's because, like, first of all, I love the classical guitar, the nylon string. I love the sound of it. I love like flamenco music. There's a certain attack and like a romantic quality to the sound of like nylon strings. But I always felt like, you know, you really need to have the guitar be like a classical, like a traditional design to really get that tone. And mic it, you know, like I've got a few nylon string guitars and they don't even have pickups on them. Like I don't even like the sound of the piezo pickup with classical guitars generally. I feel like it takes a lot of the spirit away from them. So with this being basically a completely electric, you know, version of a classical guitar, I really had this kind of preconceived notion going into it that this just wasn't going to deliver what I love about classical guitars. But I was really wrong, and I was really surprised how much I enjoy this guitar and how many cool benefits there are to the design and how much they've really nailed the ability to capture the, you know, essential qualities of the classical guitar. I'm going to talk all about the details of this guitar here in this video, give you all of my opinions, pros and cons, everything I think about this guitar, do some playing examples, and really let you experience what this guitar is all about. All right, let's start out with like just the aesthetics. I mean, look at this thing. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's got like a gloss finish. It's got this flame top. It's got inlays everywhere on the headstock. Even the fret dots up here are abalone. All this abalone binding around here. Solid ebony knobs, solid ebony bridge, solid mahogany on the neck, chambered mahogany body. So again, the concept is combine what's good about a nylon string with what's good about an electric guitar. Now, what's good about a nylon string is you get that classic nylon string tone. Also, another thing that's a benefit to nylon string for not just beginners, but players at any level, is that they're just super easy to play. I mean, to push down the strings, to practice, if you're practicing for long hours and you just want to build muscle memory without the fretting hand fatigue, it's hard to get anything better than a classical guitar or a nylon string when that's the goal in mind. It's also great for songwriting, for stuff like that. These are some of the things I love about the nylon string. Again, because they're just so easy to play, there's nothing really getting in the way of your ideas. You know, it kind of lets you flow on ideas and not be hampered by like, you know, finger strain or anything like that. It's also great for beginners like that. You know, a lot of beginners that I teach, the first problem that they have is like, I want to practice, but my fingers hurt. So a lot of times I recommend, you know, get an affordable nylon string, practice. You can practice a lot longer when you're just starting out on a classical guitar like that. So again, those are the benefits of like a classical guitar, a nylon string. Now, what are the benefits of an electric guitar? Electric guitars are just super comfortable. They're small. They have a compact body. The solid nature of the body allows you to, you know, carve in things like this. It's like a slot, like a bevel in the body to kind of comfortably lean against your torso. They usually have thinner necks, faster necks, narrower fretboards, radius fretboards. they're on stage. Electric guitars, and this is one of the reasons why they were invented to begin with, is because electric guitars are feedback resistant compared to acoustic guitars, which are designed to resonate and amplify the tone naturally. When you do that on stage, loud volumes, you have serious feedback issues. So the concept of the Fusion Craft series is to basically take the best qualities of the electric guitar while retaining the tonal qualities of the nylon string and put them together. So when I was kind of testing this out, that's largely what I was trying to figure out. Was that successful? And I'm really impressed by how much they nailed that. And again, especially at the price point. So when you play this, it really feels like you're playing an electric guitar. It does have a neck that feels classical, like classical guitars have chunky necks. They're big round necks. This has a C-shaped neck, so it's kind of a balance between what you expect from a classical but what you want from an electric. It's very comfortable. It's a little more narrow at the nut, and it kind of gets wider as you go up the fretboard. The nut size right here, like as far as the width of the neck, is actually a lot more narrow feeling than most classical guitars. Another thing that makes it more comfortable and makes it feel more like an electric guitar is that there's a radius, like a rounding to the strings. A lot of traditional classical guitars have a flat fretboard, flat radius. This has a nice rounded radius that feels more comfortable, easier to fret, more like an electric guitar. Also, again, this bevel right here on the back of the guitar, super nice and comfortable. You can play this for hours and hours, sitting down in any kind of posture, and you don't end up getting one of these, like indentations carved into your rib cage right here. The edges are rounded also all the way around the guitar, so even up here where my forearm anchors, it's very comfortable. So again, if you just felt this guitar, it would feel like an electric, but it has to sound like a classical guitar. And the problem when you're trying to do that is when you have this like chambered mahogany body, which is basically like, it's almost like a semi-hollow body guitar with an acoustic guitar top. So how do you get that classic acoustic nylon string sound out of a guitar like this? The thing is, when you're playing it acoustically in the room, it does sound nice. You can hear yourself, but it's not nearly as loud as an acoustic guitar would be. Like a full-size acoustic guitar is designed to project the tone and create like a full balanced, loud projected tone. This is designed to create the sound of that for the pickups, but not in the room. So when you play this, just by itself in the room, it's very quiet. So this is kind of nice when you're wanting to practice actually, and you're wanting to like woodshed. Maybe you're learning a new part, you're playing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and you just want it to be at a low volume level. I know a lot of people who practice, especially beginners, don't really want to sound like I don't want everyone to hear me not sounding good. I want to sort of like practice, get better before everyone in the house hears what I'm doing. This is actually a perfect guitar for that kind of thing. So even with the lower acoustic volume level, that can be a huge bonus to certain types of players. But all of the magic for this guitar is internal when it comes to the pickups, the preamps, the blending systems, the tone, all of that. So let me dive into that now. Let's get into the electronics here. So there's 3 knobs right here, and these are really beautiful knobs too. It's solid ebony knobs with like a little abalone dot to indicate where the knob is set to. There's a volume knob, which of course sets the volume. A tone knob, which is kind of like your traditional tone knob on an acoustic or an electric guitar. You go to one side, you got a bright tone, roll it to the other side, it's a much more dark and mellow tone. This is a blend knob. This third knob is a blend knob. And whenever you have a blend knob on a guitar, you have at least 2 pickups. And that's exactly what you have here on this guitar. The first pickup is an undersaddle piezo pickup. That's like a traditional type of piezo pickup that you would have on most acoustic guitars. And that gives you that kind of traditional piezo sort of sound. Let me just let you listen to what that sounds like. I'm going to turn the volume up. I'm going to turn the tone knob to about 70% on the bright side. And then I'm just gonna roll the blend knob all the way to the piezo side for this under saddle pickup. Let you hear what that sounds like by itself. That, to me, is really what you expect from an electric nylon string guitar, an electric classical guitar. It's got a lot of the body, a lot of the bass, a lot of the presence of the acoustic guitar, but you can tell also that it's a piezo pickup. You know, it doesn't sound like you just mic'd an acoustic guitar. It's got that acoustic electric sound. And honestly, I've never been like a huge fan of that sound. It's great live because it's hard to get any better when you're playing on stage. You know, a lot of times when you're miking a guitar, you get a lot of feedback issues. You got to stay in one place and hug the mic and that kind of thing. So playing live, a lot of times, that's the best kind of sound you're going to get. But there's a second pickup system on here, and it's like a series of transducer pickups in a specific positions around the underside of this top right here. And that's really where the blend comes in and the magic happens. Now let me show you what I'm talking about here. So you get this piezo sound right here. Now if I blend this all the way to the transducer side, you're gonna hear what these other pickups pick up. Now the transducer isn't designed to sound like full-bodied or necessarily like great on its own. Like this is what it sounds like compared to the piezo. But when you blend them, what you're doing is you're taking the full body of the piezo undersaddle pickup and you're starting to blend in the transducer, which adds the organic quality. It adds the fingers, it adds the contact with the body, it adds the resonance of the top, not just the resonance of the strings under there. And because it's a blend knob, you get to like very articulately sort of blend in how much of those artifacts you want, because those aren't bad artifacts. They're great and they're necessary artifacts for you to have an organic sound. But the power is, and the important part is that you have to be able to dial that in surgically so that you get just the right amount of those transducer artifacts. So check this out. Let's say I'm playing, I'm gonna play the same thing and I'm gonna start blending in that transducer. I'm gonna go a little bit more. Now this is like 30% towards the transducer. I'm gonna go a little more, like 50%. See, like to me, that's a little too much towards the transducer. I'm gonna dial it back and you're gonna hear that bass sort of swell. Yeah, there it is. You can hear when the full bodiness of the bass string sort of comes in. Check that out. When I go from the transducer side to the piezo side. Yeah, I like it right about there. About 80% piezo and about 20% transducer is sort of like, for me, the sweet spot. When I attack the note, you can really hear the articulation of the attack. And that's the thing, usually you only get that with a microphone. It just feels like you're miking the guitar now. And I just love that. I've been messing around with this, like just turning that blend knob, and it just feels like magic, you know? That's the thing with this, is that you want it to sound, and it's designed to sound like it's being mic'd, but without any mic, you know, actually picking up any substantial sound from the outside of the instrument. That's what makes it great for playing live, playing on stage. And it's also what makes it feedback resistant. The fact that like you're getting you're basically letting it resonate, acoustically as little as possible. But the fact that you have this solid chambered body and the fact that you have this like acoustic top means you can capture the acoustic quality with the pickups, but you get this sustain that's almost like a semi-hollow body or something like that. And you get the feedback resistance of something like a semi-hollow body. So again, it really achieves that balance between nylon string and electric guitar really well. So it's very hard to convey like the nuances of this over a video or a recording like this. So much of what you'll do when you dial in the balance between the two pickups and in the tone knob, so much of that will have to do with your specific attack and what it feels like in the moment when you're playing. Like you'll want to say like, maybe I want a little more treble. I'm going to put the tone up. Or if you want a little more of the presence, like the air, which is like the high frequencies and the touch, the sensitivity of the strings, I'm going to put it a little more on the transducer side. Let me get a little more of that sensitivity and touch there, put a little more towards the transducer side. See right there? You get a nice amount of that feel of the slap of the fingers and the pluck of the fingers, but maybe I want to dial that back, not with the transducer, but I don't want it to be so bright. I can dial the tone knob back a little bit. Or make it brighter. Maybe I want a little more bass. I'm going to roll it more towards the piezo. So these might sound like small nuances, but it has more to do with how it affects the way that you play and how the guitar through the amp responds to your fingers plucking the strings. It's control that really I haven't had on almost any guitar. Like the amount of control I have over the tone, the articulation of the attack, the feel, the dynamics, the transients, which are like how sharp the attack is. I could really soften those transients with the tone knob, but I can bring out the articulation with the transducer. So it's the combination of these two knobs that really just impress me the most with the sound of this guitar and with the way that it kind of allows me to play as heavy or as soft as I want and still be able to dial in all the nuances of the tone. Another thing you can get with this guitar that I've never been able to get with a classical guitar is the really unprecedented like access to the upper frets here. So it's got a really high cutaway up here, basically like up around the 18th fret right here. And it just allows you to play up there super comfortably and get all of those really high notes. And like, I love the sound of like lead nylon string when you go really high, you know? right, guys, that's the Fusion Craft series from Bromo guitars. I've got all the information about Bromo, links to where you can check these out in the video description here. Let me know what you think about the guitar in the comments. Also, as always, if you got this far in the video, you might as well subscribe to my YouTube channel here while you're watching. And if you want to get more into playing the guitar, if you're a guitar player, you want to learn from me personally, check out my guitar lesson platform at justinjohnsonguitar.com, or check out the Justin Johnson Guitar app for mobile and iOS devices. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. You rock.